Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Martin, and I will be your moderator for today's presentation, a disruptive approach to implementing K-12 analytics. This session will be recorded for your convenience. First off today, you will hear from a Click sales architect, a Click customer, and a Click partner. We will discuss Prospect Hill's requirements for analytics, the Click Analytics platform, Assure eServices approach to the K-12 analytics with a brief demo as well. We will continue to discuss an Analytics Discovery Day hosted by Assure eServices, as well as a few minutes for question and answering. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat box. Now let's get started with our first speaker, Jim Smith.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining. As Mike said, I just wanted to give you a brief introduction of myself and of Click, the software organization whose product we'll highlight today. As Mike mentioned, I'm a sales architect, and I'm also in partner enablement for Click. I've been here 3 years. I've spent about 20 years in the BI or the business intelligence area. I worked for a number of vendors that had business intelligence solutions, including Oracle, Business Objects, and Burst. And my job at Click is really to work with our prospects and partners like Assure eServices to highlight the capabilities of Click and how they can be used in different businesses. And what I'd like to do is just take a few minutes to introduce the organization that I work for so you have a better feel for what we can provide. So this is a little bit of background about Click, the organization. We've been around for 25 years. We were founded in Lund, Sweden in 1993 and moved our headquarters just outside of Philadelphia to Radnor, Pennsylvania in the early 2000s. We have a huge customer base. We have over 45,000 customers, and these are large enterprise customers included in those numbers. We have a number of different partners, a number of different employees, and have a very good revenue stream in our existence. A couple of things that I wanted to point out about this slide is, first of all, some people might wonder why Click is on a presentation with Assure eServices. Well, Click, as the software vendor, is really good at providing solutions or software solutions. What we're not great at is actually providing industry expertise. And we really look to partner with partners who are good in different areas. And when it comes to working with secondary education or education organizations, especially ones looking at PowerSchool, we actually work with Assure eServices a great deal. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out. Also wanted to point out that Click is a leader in the BI industry. If you're not familiar, there's a industry analyst called Gartner who does a review of the different BI products, and Click is a product in what we call the upper right or the leaders quadrant. So that's something else we wanted to kind of highlight. If you could go back one slide to the 45,000 customers, Mike, that slide. I wanted just to highlight that Click has customers across industries. So our tool set is not geared to a particular industry. We work in manufacturing, financial services, communication, healthcare, retail, public sector, and education. And as I mentioned, that's one of the reasons we work with Assure eServices is because they can provide us that expertise, or they can provide that expertise in education. Now, we do have a number of education customers. If you can go to the next slide, Mike. We highlight some of our kind of our colleges that are using Click. You'll see a number of different logos there where they're actually using Click in a number of different areas. I can't really speak to any of these in particular, but if you're interested in talking to any of our customers, that's something that can be arranged so you can see whether they're using it for either student record information or maybe systems to kind of go and monitor grants. I know we have companies using us for a number of different areas. What I did want to highlight, though, with one last slide is the fact that it's not just kind of this upper education that we support. We actually are a big provider of software solution at the School District of Philadelphia. This is actually from one of their websites, one of their external websites. They are actually using Click. They've actually marketed it as Click Benchmark Analytics and Management, or ClickBAM is the solution that they've built using our products. So I wanted to give you a feel that we're a large organization. We provide a software product that can be used across industries, but we also do have a number of customers in education, and we work with partners like Assure eServices to provide that education background that they have. So with that as an introduction to myself and to Click the company, I wanted to turn it over to Dave so he could do kind of an introduction to his background.
Thank you, Jim. Mike, the next slide, please. Back one, please. Well, indeed, I am Dave Fournier. I am the IT director for Prospect Hill Academy, and I've been so for 4.5 years. I'm a former secondary school teacher in the 70s. Please refrain from doing the math. Previously, I was with CGI as the VP of Retail and Distribution sectors for 11 years. And CGI is a global infrastructure and application outsourcing services organization, providing systems integration and consulting as well, and industry solutions for worldwide clients. The relevance to that is that for 11.5 years, I had a lot of exposure to dashboards and visualizations as we provided them to most clients using other tools, quite frankly, like IBM's dashboard tool, SAP's, and Microsoft's solution. Next slide. A little bit about Prospect Hill Academy. Prospect Hill Academy is a highly successful urban public charter school district of 1,150 students, K-12, with campuses in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Somerville, Massachusetts. Prospect Hill Academy is a Click and Assure eServices client. And I have to say I'm delighted to be sharing with you in this webinar PHA, or Prospect Hill Academy's journey in pursuing a data analytics platform and committing to the Click Assure K-12 solution. Our third speaker is Babu Deviraj, CEO of Assure eServices. Babu?
Thanks, David. I am Babu Deviraj, founder and CEO of Assure eServices. I have 20+ years experience in information technology space, played various roles for different organizations. I manage the business intelligence, analytics, and data science practice at Assure eServices. We are a global IT service provider, and our domains of expertise focus on 3 service areas, which are business intelligence, analytics, and data science. We are a Click implementation partner since 2011. Our team of experts bring many years of consulting service and a wealth of knowledge to address the challenge that education industry faces today. Our partnership with RapidMiner allows us to build data science capabilities and integrate with Click. Our industry domain expertise includes education, financial services, insurance, retail, and healthcare. With that, I turn to Mike.
All right, Mike, if you would move to the next slide. This is Dave. I think it's time for us for me to talk a little bit about PHA's journey. So Prospect Hill Academy's journey began with a recognition of the need to become more data-driven, to leverage a better understanding of our data in addressing a wide range of school district challenges. You know, in my ongoing interactions with other IT directors and school leaders, I've come to believe that these challenges, shown here as K-12 drivers, are common challenges shared by all of us. For example, the student achievement challenge to close achievement gaps, or the school culture challenge of identifying and eliminating chronic absences, or the school climate challenge of measuring both student and teacher health, or the family engagement challenge of measuring family engagement and the effectiveness of school-to-home communications. The ability to gain hindsight, insight and foresight into these challenges through data analysis is real and compelling. Next slide, Mike. I believe we also share a common challenge of easily harnessing our data. Here's a view of PHA's applications portfolio. I suspect it's not that far removed from yours. We have a student information system, PowerSchool. We have a learning management solution, It's Learning. We leverage assessment, diagnostic, instructional solutions from multiple vendors. We have multiple communication applications to include a parent portal, intranet, website, autocall. We have solutions from different vendors in support of guidance, behavior, nursing, enrollment, etc. And we have numerous business-directed applications as well. Reflecting on our applications portfolio and architecture helped Prospect Hill Academy understand that its challenge was not really a big data challenge, but a data integration challenge. Easily harnessing our data to achieve that hindsight, insight, and foresight required, first and foremost, bringing together data from multiple sources. And so we concluded that PHA needed a data analysis platform to be at the center of our application architecture as it is depicted in the graphic you see. Next slide. We identified these high-level requirements for selecting the right platform for data analysis. Mike, the next slide, please. We first identified as a requirement the need to not create a data warehouse. While PowerSchool houses a significant percentage of PHA data, it was not appropriate for the housing of all of our data. It simply is not serviceable as a data warehouse. And creating a separate data warehouse to house all of our data posed more problems. The challenges of ETL, extract, transform, and load. The need for highly skilled data warehouse resources on staff, which we did not possess. Not the least of the costs of standing up and maintaining a data warehouse. We also knew that we did agree, though, that we certainly needed to leverage our PowerSchool data as much as possible. So what PHA needed was a way to easily integrate our SIS data with non-SIS data, as we identified in the applications portfolio. So I turned to my previous colleagues in the for-profit IT sector seeking a better way. And they directed me to a highly disruptive platform called Qlik. They cited a growing use of Qlik across all industry sectors, and they identified Qlik as a way to address the exact problem I qualified to them. And so PHA began to evaluate Qlik with additional requirements in mind. That is to say, to recapture state data 7 years back that was not in our PowerSchool repository. Not all of our state-reported data was easily accessible, but we needed it for trending analysis and reporting. We knew we needed to meet ESSA requirements going forward, and that would require a data analysis platform. We also felt we needed a delivery model that allows for dynamic data analysis and visualization capability, as well as standard static reporting, all of which are aligned to organizational roles. That is to say, some people needed dynamic data analysis and visualization, others needed static reporting only. We also needed to meet budget allowances and constraints, which were significant. And so we wanted to consider a managed services model approach to development of dashboards and visualizations going forward. Jim, how is Click able to meet all of PHA's requirements?
Well, thanks, Dave. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. So really what makes Click unique fit right into what Prospect Hill Academy needed. So if you take a look at this slide, this is really kind of showing a very high-level architecture of what Click can do. It's really talking about the fact that it can take multiple data sources into Click's associative engine and then provide an interface that allows different users the type of information they want. The way that I like to kind of summarize this for people who might be viewing today's session is just think about the ABCs of Click. If you can just think about Click doing three things that they do very uniquely in the market, those are the things that Prospect Hill needed when they were taking a look at their particular solution. So let's just break down those ABCs. First of all, Click provides what's called an associative database. And we're not going to get real technical in today's presentation. We can talk more about that if you decide to attend the Analytics Discovery Day. But the thing about this associative database is it doesn't require organizations to have a separate data warehouse. One of the great things about Click is you don't necessarily have to bring the data to Click. You can have Click go out and get the data. And it doesn't require you to have, highly skilled data warehouse, data mart resources on staff. It allows anybody who knows where data is to go and get that information and start to report on it. A couple other things that this associative database does, in addition to not requiring a data warehouse, which is something Dave didn't want to have, it also uses what's called an in-memory engine. That makes things really fast for the end users. But more importantly, it doesn't require someone who knows the data to aggregate information up over a particular hierarchy. Now, again, that might sound a little strange, but typically when business users interact with data, they want to slice and dice it by a number of different dimensions and jump around the data. And most data solutions or BI solutions require you to do some work in the data warehouse to add things up beforehand so that you can get the performance that you need. And Click doesn't require that. So Dave's users at Prospect Hill Academy could actually kind of jump around and get the information they want and see the added data points right away. Finally, there's a capability of the associative database that we call green, white, and gray, and you kind of see an example of that to the right-hand side. That provides a lot of business benefit to users. And the reason for that is when users go in and start making selections or filtering their data, once they filter on a data point, we'll highlight that in green. But more importantly, all the other data points, we're going to highlight either in white, which means they're related to that selected point, or in gray, which means it's not related to that selected point. And that gives business users a lot of capabilities within the product to see information that they might not even have thought they wanted to see before they started their analysis. So from an associative standpoint, a couple of things that Click was able to bring Prospect Hill was really the fact that they didn't need to have a data warehouse. They didn't need to have highly skilled data individuals to pull information, and they were able to get this kind of business approach to the data. The next thing was the business use case support. And the way that I explain this is if you go and talk to somebody about what business intelligence is, if you talk to 5 people, you will get 5 different definitions. Some people say it's dashboards. Some people say it's ad hoc analytics, be able to slice and dice information. Other people will say, I just want a report that I can print out every week. And we saw that with Dave. He wanted to be able to have some people go in and be able to see visualizations and interact with those visualizations. Other people just wanted to have enterprise reports emailed to them on a monthly basis. And since Click supports all of those different business use cases, Dave could go with one tool to address all of those. Finally, the C in the ABCs is the fact that Click provides a comprehensive platform. So Dave talked a little bit about the fact that he needs the ETL capabilities, or extraction, transformation, and load capabilities, to pull data from PowerSchool, to get that 7 years of back data from the state, and other student information from other systems all together. Typically, BI tools don't do that. They require you to go out and use some other ETL product to pull that information together. But with Click, basically Dave was able to utilize one tool to pull that information from all those sources, bring them together, and give them the interface that he needed to see. So again, we talk about the ABCs of Click as being unique to our product, and it really fit in nicely, Dave, with what you were looking for from a BI solution. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And I think one of the best ways to see these unique capabilities is to see how the product, what the product looks like and how it can be used. And I think I was going to turn it over to, was it Babu who was going to do a presentation of a Click application?
That's correct, sir.